What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Homie Hangout, where we help others move in excellence. And I got a quick story for you guys. A situation that happened when I came home from prison soon after I come home. And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on if you think I handled it the right way or not. And so I'm in Concord at the time. I had been visiting my sister who lived right off of Monument Boulevard, a little street called Robin Lane. For those unfamiliar, Monument Boulevard and the Monument area of Concord is pretty deep with Southsiders, right? And that's been the case for a long time. And so I come home, I'm not tripping off that stuff, right? And so I'm at my sister's, and I had ran across some of the Southsiders over there, and they weren't tripping off me, I wasn't tripping off them, right? And so I knew this guy that I had met when I came home, and he worked at the Hollywood Video right there on Monument Boulevard, kind of behind where my sister lived. And so I had gone over there to meet him when he got off of work. And I was there a little early, so I was walking around inside, and I run across these two youngsters. And one of them has a big red sweatshirt that has an N on it, right, for Nebraska, but obviously he's not wearing it for Nebraska. Like he's flamed up. And the other one has a red shirt. They got on one khaki shorts, and so nonetheless, they are dressed like Northerners, right? And so I meet them inside Hollywood Video. I guess they were waiting for dude. My homeboy at work, his name was Brian. He didn't bang, right? He was more comfortable and knew more Northerners than Southerners, but he wasn't a gang member. And so these two are flexing. And oh man, what's up, homie? And blah, 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 blah. And so there's some other people shopping in there. And I see this guy, and he's with his lady, and he's got a child inside the car seat, but with the handle where you carry it around. And I can see he's scoping, right? And he's scoping these youngsters. And then he kind of walks off to the side and he gets on the phone. And I can hear him on the phone in Spanish talking to whoever saying, hey, there's these two busters over here, right? Now, that area has a lot of apartments and that sort of stuff. And again, these Southsiders are deep and that's their backyard, so to speak. And so I'm kind of smirking, and I tell these dudes, I said, hey, I got my car right here, man. If you guys feel like you need to leave, because that fool's on the phone, calling Southsiders, letting them know you guys are here. Nah, Holmes, it's good. We ain't tripping. Like, it's whatever. I was like, okay, maybe they're about that life. Now, my brother and I had gotten into it in that area. I'd gotten into that in that area back, in the mid 90s before I went to prison. And I thought, man, maybe these dudes is really with the business, right? It's their issue, not mine. I don't care. And so I go outside and I'm waiting for my homeboy, and they come out and we're smoking a cigarette, and I can see through the parking lot. It's a huge parking lot, but I can see through the parking lot. I see folks coming. I had seen some cars drive by with people mad dogging. And so I'm like, hey, it's about to get funky right here, man. If you guys want to dip, bro, I don't blame you. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it's cool. We ain't tripping, bro. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to us. I'm thinking to myself, yes, they are. Yes, they are, right? And I mean, technically, I'm on parole, so I probably shouldn't have been in that situation. I probably should have left, but I wasn't really tripping. And I was actually just a little more curious. Let's see how this unfolds, right? Maybe not the most mature point of view, but also I don't really, I don't get ran out of spots, and I'm not thinking that's going to change. So I'm hanging out, and I have like some red stripes on a polo shirt. I'm not dressed like those dudes, but I got a little bit of red on my shirt. It's a short sleeve polo shirt. And so sure enough, man, here they come. And they come from everywhere, and they're on bikes and they're on foot. And apologies for the light, I keep moving, but they're coming from the left, from the right, from the back of the parking lot. They're coming across the street like these fools are deep. And I'm like, okay, let's see what happens, right? And these cats run up and they ignore me, right? I'm right there. I'm standing right by my car, and I'm parked in the front of this store. They're standing on the sidewalk in front of the store. So I'm not far away, but they ignored me, right? And some of them had kind of known that I've been around. They knew I just got out of prison. They knew everything. But they hit up these kids. And that's the first time I ever heard a Southsider use the N-word, right? Like that threw me back. I was like, damn, look at these dudes. These upstaters are bait out all of a sudden. They didn't talk like that when I went. And they're talking all kinds of shit. And what's up with that sweatshirt, Holmes? What's up with that sweatshirt? You go to Nebraska? You went from Nebraska? And these dudes are breaking it down. Nah, man. It's my brother gave me this. My brother gave me this. I don't. What you claim? What you claim? I don't claim nothing. They're both. I don't claim nothing. I don't claim nothing. And I'm sitting there like, good Lord, right? These dudes had a whole different energy when they got rushed. And my thought was like, I tried to help them to get them out of that situation. I knew they were going to be outnumbered. I knew how this was going to go down. I knew they didn't have a pistol. And so I was like, this it's not going to go good, right? And had they stuck up for themselves, had they flexed a little bit, then I'd have had their back, right? I'm not going to stand there and let people get smashed, but I would have tried to probably defuse the situation. Like, look, man, let this shit go, right? And who knows how it would have played out, right? I could have wound up in a conflict and gone back to prison. Who knows, I was just more watching as a bystander and entertained by these dudes. And so there's a lot of shit talking, but they're not jumping. They're all standing there, they're woofing, they're not taking any physical action. And I'm cracking up laughing, right? And then finally one of them kind of rushes and fires on one of these pretend Northerners a couple times, right? Nothing major, just teenage shit, right? Tips him up a little bit, dude kind of backs up. Another guy kind of runs up. The rest of them are just sitting there talking shit, being loud, just being very loud, making a scene. And at that point, man, dude comes out, right? My homeboy who worked at the Hollywood Video, he had been watching from inside. And he's looking at me and I'm laughing and he's smiling. And then when it starts to get physical, he comes out and is like, hey man, cut it out. And I'm like, hey, but let this shit go, man. The boy's finna be here, go. And so they did, man, you fucking busted, blah, blah. And so the youngster's like, hey, Raz, can we get a ride? So you guys want to ride now, huh? And they're like, yeah. I said, come on, man, because the boys are finna come. I'm not trying to get in trouble. So I put him in the car and I said, where you want to go? I'm gonna go back to the house. And they're sitting in the back seat of my SUV. I'm sitting in the front seat, obviously driving. And they live in the Monument neighborhood, not right there. Apparently one of them lived in a house that was kind of back in the back streets a little bit, tucked away further from the main area, but nonetheless in that region, so to speak. And so I'm listening to them talk to each other. And he's like, man, we're finna go back to the house, man, and call the homies and figure out what we're gonna do. And I'm like, wait a minute, call the homies? What homies? Nah, bro, we ain't gonna let that slide. I said, no, wait a minute though. But I didn't know you had homies. What I just heard is you don't bang. So why you gonna call homies and get off, right? Nah, fool, you know how it is. Like, they was deep. I said, I know you was out of bounds, and I gave you action at getting out of bounds. But you wasn't worried about it. And you had a whole different energy with them. I said, bro, how you gonna be out of bounds and not even like have a weapon or nothing? And the other one asked, one asked the other one, hey man, what about that knife? How come you didn't pull out your knife? He says it got stuck in his pocket. And this fool pulls out a buck knife about this big, right? Like a folding buck knife. It probably was like a garden shear or something. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, I was gonna get it out of my pants, but it got stuck. Now this dude's wearing Dickies. Anybody that's ever worn Dickies knows the problem is keeping stuff in your pockets when you wear Dickies, not getting them out. I've never had something get caught in the pocket of Dickies. For those that are unfamiliar, the pocket is cut at an angle. It's a sideways angle. And so it's the kind of pants where you sit down and a bunch of shit falls out your pockets, right? So I'm like, boy, I've been wearing Dickies longer than you've been alive and ain't never had nothing get stuck in my pockets. You need to cut it out. And I was like, so you two got buffed out of bounds with advance notice and a weapon on you. Well, I mean, why you putting it like that, homie? What other way is there to put it? So anyways, I took him to the house. I dropped him off. I told him be safe. I said, I would suggest you not call anybody and take this any further, man, because you're going to wind up getting people in trouble for something that you ain't willing to get in trouble for yourself. Come on now. Like, that ain't cool. And there's a life beyond this, bro. Just relax, change your wardrobe a little bit, get a job. And so one of them winds up going to my sister's apartment later, right? Some other day. And has this whole story, right? And so she calls me and I go over there and he's still, he's got his red belt and everything. Now, I'm assuming he didn't have his belt out when he was walking up to the apartment. But I said, man, what are you doing? Nah, but I'm just chilling. And he was trying to holler at my sister is what it was. And she wasn't interested. She was older than him and he ain't cut from a cloth that she's into. Um, and I'm like, come on, man. Nah, bro, you can't be coming around here no more. Damn, homie, like that, what you mean? No, because you want some hot shit, but ain't willing to back that up, man. So I can't trust you around my family. You're gonna bring heat over here. And I don't want nobody bringing heat here, period, but especially you're gonna bring heat because you're a poodle and you ain't doing nothing about it. Nah, bro. Nah. So I'm sorry. You're not welcome over here anymore, man. Go get your fucking life together. And so, like I said, it's a brief story, right? I'm uploading stuff on Homie Heart Check today. And I'm picking up my kids and other things. So I wanted to get this out to you guys though. Tap in the comments, man, and let me know. Should I have kicked it off when those guys rushed? Should I have ever offered to give them a ride? Should I have just let it go from jump and not been involved? Should I have left and just gone away from them? I had options and I made the decisions I thought were best in that moment. And I'm curious what you guys think. But the takeaway is banging is a violent lifestyle. Gang banging is a violent lifestyle. And if you're going to get involved, if you're going to dress up for the party, you got to be expecting that somebody might come and check your ticket at some point, right? And if you're not into that, if that's not your thing, then I don't blame you. Like, that's great. But then don't dress up for the party. And another piece of advice, if somebody comes along, especially for young folks, man, or young-minded people, if somebody comes along and is like, hey, I think you're in a bad situation right now, and gives you a way out, take that way out. I would not have looked at them as cowards if I gave them a ride. I'd have looked at it like them fools was out of bounds and they knew it and they weren't looking for that smoke. Now, I'd have told them, like, don't dress like you flex and everything if you're over here not really willing to flex. But nonetheless, man, our egos can get us hurt and can get other people hurt. And so just be mindful of that and what is worth it and what's not. But it's not enough to say, man, that stuff ain't worth it. Then don't act like it's worth it, right? Don't make decisions. Don't carry yourself. Don't dress and conduct yourself in a way that makes it seem like you're ready for that action. And whatever happens, it is worth it to you to engage. If it's not worth it, don't pretend that it is, and that makes you wise, not a weenie in my mind, at least. So anyways, man, it's the Homie Hangout. Help others move in excellence. That's what homies do. Help yourself at the same time because you're worth it, and help your community, man, because they need you. Like I said, tap in the comments. And if you haven't yet, go check out Homie Heart Check and subscribe over there. That's, different content, man, but same agenda. Check it out. I got plenty more stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next one.